I realized the woman standing at the end of a road wasn't trying to get a ride. She was waiting for me to stop looking away. It started normal, completely normal. Late drive back home after visiting my parents. Same road I always take on weekends. Empty highway, no streetlights for long stretches, just trees and fields on both sides. Radio playing low, windows slightly open. Warm air coming in. Nothing unusual. I remember slowing down a bit because there was something on the side of the road ahead. Looked like a person standing near the trees. White clothing, maybe a dress, hard to tell in the dark. No car nearby, no movement, just standing there facing the road. I drove past slowly, expecting some kind of reaction. There wasn't any. And once the car passed, the road behind me felt completely empty again. After that, it didn't happen the same way twice. Next weekend, same road again, same late drive, same empty stretch. I told myself it was just someone waiting for help last time and didn't think much about it. But then I saw her again, further down the road this time, closer to the asphalt. Same white shape standing near the trees. Same still posture. No movement. My foot eased off the gas without me thinking. Heart started beating a little faster, not panic, just that quiet tension that creeps in when something feels off. The road was completely silent. No cars behind me. No cars ahead. No wind through the trees. Even the radio started cutting out for a second, turning into light static. I kept driving, slower now. As the headlights got closer, the shape became clearer. Definitely a woman. White dress. Standing straight, arms down, head slightly tilted. She didn't react to the car. Didn't step forward. Didn't wave. Just stood there like she already knew the car would pass. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Breathing got shallow without me noticing. I kept my eyes forward, trying not to stare too long. When the car finally passed her, I checked the mirror. Nothing. The side of the road was empty again. Just trees and darkness. And the silence settled back like nothing had been there at all. I tried not to think about it after that. It was just someone on the road, probably waiting for help. Maybe someone from a nearby farm or a broken down car hidden somewhere off the highway. That explanation made enough sense, so I stuck with it. But sleep started getting weird a few days later. Nothing dramatic at first. Just waking up more often during the night. Random times. No clear reason. Sometimes around 2 or 3 in the morning. Sometimes closer to sunrise. I'd wake up and feel like I had overslept, then check the clock and realize only an hour had passed. Time felt off in general. Some nights dragged forever, like hours were stretching out, and other nights disappeared completely. I'd lie down, close my eyes, and suddenly it was morning with no memory of actually sleeping. Then small physical things started showing up. Mild headaches during the day, ringing in my ears once in a while, shoulders tense for no reason, like my body was stuck in a low-level alert mode all the time. Nothing serious enough to see a doctor, just enough to be annoying. I kept telling myself it was stress. Too much driving, too little sleep, too much screen time at night. Normal explanations for normal symptoms. But the paranoia started creeping in quietly. I double-checked the front door before going to bed, even though I knew it was locked. I started leaving hallway lights on, not because I was scared, just because it felt more comfortable that way. Sometimes I'd wake up and feel like someone had walked through the house earlier, like there had been movement while I was asleep. No sounds, no proof, just that lingering feeling that the space had been shared for a while. And the strangest part was realizing that the same heavy silence from the road sometimes showed up inside the house late at night, like the stillness had followed me back and settled into the rooms. That's when I started looking things up. Not seriously at first, just random late-night searches after another bad night of sleep. Stuff like woman on roadside at night or figure in white on highway. Nothing specific, just trying to see if anyone had seen something similar. Most results were junk, but after digging deeper, I found old forum threads. Small ones. half-dead communities with posts from years ago. People talking about late-night drives, empty roads, white figures standing near trees or bridges. Different states, different countries. Same kind of story. Someone driving alone at night. Someone seeing a woman in white standing near the road. Someone slowing down. Someone feeling watched after. Buried in one of the threads, someone mentioned a name. The White Lady. No big explanation, just people casually talking about it like it was already known. A few short stories, a few warnings, a few people saying ignoring her was the safest option. More threads said the same thing in different ways. Late night, sighting. Repetition. Things getting closer over time. And almost every story ended the same way. Something always followed the person after they noticed her. That's when things started making uncomfortable sense. The stories weren't random sightings. Most of them followed the same kind of person. Someone who drove alone a lot. Someone with long routines. Someone who spent a lot of time in quiet places with no one around. That fit a little too well. Late drives, empty roads, coming home late at night, long stretches of silence. It wasn't unusual for me. It was part of normal life. And thinking back, I realized how many times I had slowed down, stared too long, or tried to understand what I was seeing instead of just ignoring it. That probably counted as acknowledgement. So I changed small things. I stopped driving late whenever possible. If I had to, I kept the radio louder than usual so the silence wouldn't settle in. I stopped looking at dark roadsides while driving. Just focused straight ahead and kept moving. At home, I avoided saying anything about it out loud. Even when alone, it felt safer to keep thoughts inside instead of letting them exist in the air. Reflection started bothering me too. Windows at night, mirrors in dark rooms, even the reflection on the TV screen when it was turned off. I'd glance at them quickly just to make sure nothing was standing behind me. Nothing ever was, but the habit stuck. Hyper-awareness became normal. Listening for small sounds. Watching empty corners longer than necessary. Making sure doors were locked twice. Keeping lights on in hallways just to avoid deep shadows. And after a while, it stopped feeling like fear and started feeling like routine. That's what bothered me the most. Because adapting to it felt less like staying safe and more like slowly making space for it in everyday life. The mistake happened on a night drive I couldn't avoid. Same kind of road. Not the original one, just another quiet stretch outside town. Empty, dark, nothing around for miles. I kept my eyes forward the whole time, radio on, trying to treat it like any normal drive. Then I saw a white on the side of the road, standing near a broken guardrail. I told myself not to look, but my foot slowed on the gas anyway. Just a little. Enough for the headlights to reach her. Same still posture. Same silence. And without thinking, I looked directly at her face. Not for long. Just a second. But it was enough. The air inside the car felt heavier instantly. Radio dropped into static, like something had cut the signal. Even the engine sounded quieter, like the world had turned down its volume. I didn't stop. I didn't speak. I just kept driving. But in that moment, something felt clear in a way it hadn't before. Looking at her like that wasn't just noticing. It felt like recognition. And the silence that followed made it clear something had crossed a boundary. I don't really track when things happen anymore. Some weeks feel completely normal. Work, home, sleep, repeat. Nothing strange, nothing out of place. Other weeks feel slightly off, like time moves differently and I only notice it after days have already passed. The routines are still there. Driving shorter routes. Keeping lights on at night. Avoiding quiet roads whenever possible. Checking reflections without thinking about it. It all feels automatic now, like normal behavior instead of fear. That's probably the worst part. Nothing dramatic is happening. No sightings every night. No constant activity. Just small moments where silence feels too heavy and empty spaces feel like they're not really empty. And instead of panicking, I just keep going with my day. Like this is something that can be lived with. Like this is something that becomes part of regular life if ignored long enough. Sometimes it feels like the real change wasn't seeing her on the road. It was getting used to the idea that she might still be somewhere nearby.